Welcome back, and thank you for joining me again in Bible study. This is our second session on Luke chapter 1, verses 26 to 56. If you didn't have time to complete the first session, there is a link that's going to appear that you can click on to go and complete that session. But you don't need to. Each one of our Bible studies is self-contained, and you can carry on from here if you wish. If you haven't read the text yet, then there is a link in the video details, so you can pause this video and click that link and go and read the scriptures that we're looking at for today. If you don't have time, then that's okay. I'll give you a quick overview of what happens in the reading. Gabriel goes to visit Mary, and Gabriel tells her that she's about to have God's son. Mary wonders how this is possible, since she's a virgin. After this, she goes off to visit her cousin Elizabeth, and Elizabeth confirms when Mary arrives that the child who is in Mary's womb is indeed special. Mary then stays with her cousin to around the time that Elizabeth's son, who becomes John the Baptist, is supposed to be born. There's a lot of debate amongst people as to what was meant by Mary being a virgin. And Mary's virginity is not included in all of the Gospels. It's only in Luke and Matthew. Mark and John don't mention it at all. So no matter what people say about Mary's virginity, I would imagine everyone could agree, though, the purpose of including it in the story is to say that this pregnancy is unusual, different than a normal one. However, there are some other unusual pregnancies that are in the scriptures. This from the Lexham Bible Dictionary. Sarah, the mother of Isaac; Manoah's wife, the mother of Samson; Hannah, the mother of Samuel; and Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist, all had unusual pregnancies. You can see the scriptural references on the screen. I encourage you, if you want to dig deeper, to pause this video and you can look up those references. But trust me, they were all unusual in their own way. Now, the world's changed a lot since those days. And our first question comes from the fact that things have changed a lot. What would you consider to be an unusual pregnancy today? Take a moment and pause the video and think about what would make a pregnancy unusual. Unwed parents isn't as unusual or as dangerous as it was in biblical times. So what would you consider to be an unusual pregnancy today? Every writer, every storyteller embellishes their source material to write a more compelling story. A story that better meets their needs and better conveys their desired outcome. Again, from the Lexham Bible Dictionary, we read, in Schaberg's view, the notion of a virginal conception is a distortion and an embellishment that helps cover up the illegitimacy of Jesus' birth. Crossan believes Schaberg's theory is most likely historical. In his view, The early church idealized Mary's virginity and Jesus' miraculous birth to counter the fact that of Jesus' historical illegitimate birth. Now, here are two fairly current scholars who talk about the birth of Jesus using the term illegitimate. It's jarring for me to use that language to talk about Jesus, about the one who we believe is part of the one holy and undivided Trinity. However, the language does make their point very clear. And it leads into our second question for the day. Would seeing Jesus' birth as illegitimate change your understanding of what God does through the story? Take a moment and pause the video if you wish. Reflect on what it means for God to have used someone who our society would have at some point described as illegitimate to redeem the world. Does this change your understanding of what God does through this story? I noted at the beginning of this series of videos that the readings in these 4 weeks of Advent had been grouped into a season of hope. And each week we end with the same question. How does this story give us hope? Once you've had time to think about these questions, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you didn't catch the questions when they were displayed on the screen, don't worry, they're included in the video details that are below this video. Please let me know what you think, and I hope that you'll join me again in a few days for some more Bible study.